Hello guys, welcome back to Car Obsession and welcome to another walk around. If you are new to my channel, hello and especially warm welcome to you. My name is Aaron, I'm your Master of Ceremonies and welcome to my channel. On here you'll find car reviews, videos like this. I also go to some car events and film some modified cars. So yes, there's a lot of car content on my channel. Anyway, I digress. Let me move on to the car I have in this video, which is the brand new Honda CR-V Hybrid. So as always, I will take you around the car, give you my initial thoughts and also talk you through the specification. So yes, here we go, the Honda CR-V Hybrid. So there are 4 trim levels available. You have S, SE, SR or EX. I've got the SR trim level, which starts from £34,470. The car you see in front of you is a bit more though, because I've got this fantastic platinum white pearl paintwork, which is an optional extra. It will cost you £550. Now normally I can take or leave white paintwork, but if I get you a little bit closer guys, you will see this white paintwork's got a lovely glisten to it and it looks beautiful underneath the sunlight. It is a really nice finish. Now, going back to the prices, the base model, the S, starts from £30,130. And obviously the higher you go up through the range, the more money it will cost you. But yes, as I've mentioned, this is the SR trim level, and it has got quite a few bells and whistles. As standard, you get 18-inch alloys, which are wrapped with Bridgestone tyres. I really like the design. Now I know looks will always be subjective. On the whole, yeah, the look of the CR-V is okay. I wouldn't really say it is a particularly pretty car, but as I said a few moments ago, looks are subjective. As standard, you get LED headlights even on the base model, which I think is a really good touch from Honda. It gives you better vision at night. Let me take you inside the car. Get rear privacy glass as standard as well. You also get keyless entry, but of course the car is already unlocked. Let me straighten the steering wheel up. There we go, it's better. Turn that off for the time being. You'll also get these very nice leather seats as standard. I know the lighting isn't fantastic, and you can see my shadow, so I do apologise guys. Obviously I do have the wonderful sun beating down on me, so yes, that will cast shadows. You also get a leather steering wheel as well. And the inside is a relatively nice place to be. Now, I will say quite quickly, I don't really care for this fake wood panelling. I think it looks a little bit cheap, and I wouldn't say it looks nasty. That would be harsh, but yeah, it isn't to my tastes. Now, let me step inside the car. Oh, make myself comfortable, which is very easy to do in this car. So let me show you the rest of the inside. You've got a nice black trim going, sorry, I can't get my words out, going across the dashboard. And you also get plenty of soft touch materials. Now, quite a few of my viewers say, well, who cares about a soft touch dashboard? You don't drive along groping the dashboard, do you? And that is a very good point, but it just gives you, a nicer place to be, gives you better quality. So yes, I do find a soft touch dashboard most welcome. But yes, I'm not a big fan of the faux wood panelling. So let me talk you through the specification. As standard, you get a 7-inch touchscreen, which uses the Honda Connect system. Now, regular viewers of my channel will know that I'm not a particularly big fan of this system. Now, let me turn on the ignition. I may need to press it once more. There we go. And wait for the system to load up. Now, I will be doing a separate video talking purely about the infotainment system, so this will be a quick overview. One thing I'm not a massive fan of is this large bezeling that goes all around it. To me, it kind of feels like Honda has wasted all of this space. Granted, you've got this area here where you've got your shortcut buttons and you've got the volume control, and you can also turn the touchscreen off. But yeah, it just seems like a wasted amount of space. Now, I do apologise if there is a little bit of blurring on the audio. I have got the climate control on because it is quite warm today. So let me take you back to home because it's trying to activate the Android Auto, but I have my phone disconnected. So you've got navigation as standard, which is supplied by Garmin. And yeah, as you can see by the display, it isn't exactly cutting edge, is it? It does look quite dated. But yes, as I've said, I will be doing a separate video talking through the infotainment system. So go back to home. You've got phone where you've got your Bluetooth, of course. You get Bluetooth as standard. No phone is connected. Oh, you have to turn the Bluetooth off on my phone. Let's hit no for the time being. Go back to home. We've also got audio. Of course, you've got DAB radio, and you can use Bluetooth for your music as well if you don't want to use the smartphone connectivity. So this comes standard with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. I've got an Android phone, therefore I would use Android Auto. But yes, the touchscreen, the graphics are quite dated. It isn't particularly slick. And when I used it on, so there were 2 days ago, I was using it and it just really wouldn't work. The Android Auto kept crashing and I thought maybe it's my phone, maybe it's the Android Auto app. But then I used the Bluetooth and that was just as bad. So yeah, this is an infotainment system I'm not a big fan of. So let me move away from it. You also get a reversing camera. The car needs to actually be on for that. So you've got a button here where you can pop it into reverse, and you've got a reversing camera. You can change the angles like so, and you can also bring that across to give you your front and rear parking sensors. Let me move my hand out the way so the lighting is better, and I can simply swipe it out the way. Pop the car back into park. So as well as the touchscreen and the reversing camera and parking sensors, you also get dual zone climate control, heated front seats, which on a day like today obviously aren't needed, and electric parking brake, and you've got the drive functions here. So you've got D for drive, N for neutral, R for reverse, and P for park. Got a sport driving mode, which I would argue isn't really needed in a car like this, but it does give you an extra bit of peppiness to the drive. Got an econ driving mode to give you more economical driving, and you've got an EV only mode. So this car is of course a hybrid. It is a self-charging hybrid. It isn't a plug-in hybrid. The electric range is only 1.2 miles or 2 kilometers. So yeah, you won't get very far on electric only. You've also got a digital driver display, which is actually quite pleasant to look at. Thankfully, the display is, I'd say it is a bit more crisp than the touchscreen. And yes, it is quite pleasant to look at. I've got automatic lights, automatic wipers. Now, you may have spotted these paddles on the steering wheel. They are not for the gearbox. This car has got the eCVT gearbox. So what these paddles are actually for, they increase or decrease the amount of energy recuperation the car has when you lift off the throttle. So obviously when you have it at a minimum, you won't recuperate as much energy, but when you have it up to the maximum, of course you will be recuperating the maximum amount of energy possible. Of course, you've got buttons on the steering wheel, so you can change your media here, change the track, volume, info, button for the voice commands, buttons for the phone functions. Then on the right hand side, you've got the lane keep assist. That button, that blank button, would normally be where you have the heated steering wheel, which is standard on the EX, but of course not standard on this car. And you've got the buttons for the adaptive cruise control and speed limiter. And you also get a good amount of safety features, including autonomous emergency braking, blind spot monitoring. You've got the logo on the ring mirror, which you can't really see. So yes, this car has got a lot of kit. Now let me talk you through getting a good driving position, which is very easy. The steering wheel adjusts for rake and reach like so. Very easy indeed. And my driver's seat also has the good level of adjustment. But if you go for the EX, you do get a driver's seat which is 8-way electronically adjustable, and it also has memory functions, which is handy if the car is going to be driven by more than one person in the family. Right, let me talk you through the storage, because it is a very spacious car. So you've got a decent sized door bin where I've got a bottle of drink that is 500 millilitres. I've got a bit of space left over, as you can see. You've got two cup holders in the middle, which I can just about squeeze this 1 litre bottle of water in there. It is a little bit tight, but it does go in. And what's handy, you have these little kind of prongs, I suppose, so let's say you had a smaller bottle in here, these little prongs would help to keep it in place, which is a handy touch. A little slot here where you can put the car key or a smaller item. You've got a 12-volt socket there, as you may have spotted. You've got a very deep storage compartment in here and an armrest which adjusts like so, and it can be lifted up. This tray can be slid forwards or backwards, or you can remove it altogether if you don't need it. But yes, you've got plenty of space down there. You've also got two USB ports, a HDMI port, which you probably won't need, but in case you do need it, it is there, and another 12-volt socket. So yes, very spacious indeed. The glove box also offers a good amount of room. Just to show you guys, apologies, the lighting isn't fantastic, so let me get you a bit closer. And last but not least, you have a sunglasses holder up here, which is really where I should have my sunglasses. So pop them in there like so. And if you pop it up, you'll see you have a wide angle rear view mirror. So if you've got children in the back on a family road trip, you can keep an eye on them and make sure they are behaving. That's a handy touch. What I like about the CR-V is Honda has clearly put a lot of thought in regards to the practicality, but I wish Honda would have put more thought in regards to the touchscreen, because yeah, as I've said, it isn't particularly good. Right, let me step into the back so I can show you rear space. It also gives me a chance to step out into this wonderful spring day in the UK. Now, a moment ago I was talking about how practical this car is. Look at this. So the rear doors, they open virtually 90 degrees, so it is very easy to get in or out of the car. Again, a handy touch. Well done, Honda. So as always, the driver's seat has been set for me. I'm 6'2", so I am of course a taller chap, but even so, as you can see, I've got lots of space to step into, which I will do now. And close the door. So yes, guys, look at that. Look how much knee room and leg room I've got. I have got acres. So much I could probably practice the can if I wanted to. Okay, that's a bit of an extreme example, but you get what I mean. It's very spacious. Look at that, look. That's simply fantastic. You could probably get Peter Crouch in the back and he wouldn't really have many complaints. Now let's talk about headroom. As you can see, I've got a good amount of headroom. Maybe not enough for Peter Crouch, but what does he do for a car? He must drive a convertible. Anyway, I digress. But yes, my point is I've got a good amount of headroom, even with my rather thick head of hair, which needs to be cut. So if you are a taller person, fear not. The back of the Honda CR-V hybrid, or indeed the standard CR-V with the petrol engine, will be a spacious place to be. Now, could you fit 3 adults back here? Yes, you can. And in fact, I've done it when I had the petrol version of this car. The middle seat isn't too slim, and you can fit a grown adult in there. And better still, the transmission tunnel is minimal. It's almost flat and flush with the floor. So if you are sat in the middle, you should still have a decent amount of space. However, if you don't have anyone sat in the middle, you can make use of this armrest to give you better comfort. And as you can see, you've also got 2 cup holders in there as well for better practicality. Speaking of practicality, you also have 2 USB ports down here. So those in the back can charge their smartphone or a tablet on the go, which is handy. And you also have decent sized door bins. So you can fit a bottle of drink in there and you've got space left over. Let me just get the autofocus to do its thing. There we go. Not the greatest focus, but it should give you a good idea of the space. And last but not least, it's got hooks if you want to hang up an item of clothing. So again, very, very handy. Oh, I almost forgot to say, it's got map pockets in the back of the front seat, so if you want to put a map in there or a magazine or some paperwork, you can do so. And of course, as I mentioned, you've got the doors which open really nice and wide, giving you easy access in and out the car. Now, because of the hybrid system, it is a little bit smaller compared to the petrol version, but as you can see, well, you can't really see, the lighting is awful, I do apologise, you still get a good amount of space. I've got all of my filming gear in there with plenty of space left over. So the capacity is at 497 litres, and what I like about the boot is nice and wide. You've got a nice practical opening. The lip of the boot is low down, so it's easier to load bigger or heavier items, or dogs perhaps, and you don't have a step going into the boot. So the boot floor is pretty much flush with the entry of the boot, which again makes loading bigger, heavier items very easy indeed. Now, I know you can't really see much of the boot due to the lighting and the fact I've got stuff in it, so I will cut away to a clip where you've got the boot empty and you can get to see it in better lighting. If you need more space, you can of course fold down the 60/40 rear seats to give you a whopping 1,697 litres. And to get the rear seats folded, it's very easy. You've got a lever either side. Down they go. And there goes that seat as well. And you also get a flat load floor. So if I come around to the rear seats once more, you'll see it's nice and flat, which once more makes loading bigger, heavier items a doddle. So a lot of thought has been put into making this car as practical and as spacious as possible. Now, in case you want to know about a spare wheel, you can't have one for the hybrid because of the batteries needed. So you do get a tyre repair kit, which is just underneath this little flap here. Also, it's worth noting you can't have the hybrid as a 7-seater because once more you need the extra space for the batteries. Right, let's pop that seat back up like so. The only thing I would say about the tailgate, and this is more of a personal complaint, is the height of it is pretty much the same height as my forehead, and there have been times where I have banged my head on it, but obviously that's more of a personal complaint. That's due to my height. That will teach me for being so tall. Oh, actually, I forgot to mention, you've got another 12-volt socket in the boot as well, just there. Is there one this side? No, but still, to have a 12-volt socket in the boot is quite handy. So let me conclude about talking about the engine and of course the electric motor. So to do so, I need to pull this lever down here to get access to the boot. Sorry, not the boot, the bonnet. I've just done the boot. And lift up the bonnet like so. So this car is of course a hybrid. So you have a 2-litre Atkinson cycle petrol. Let me start again. I can't even get my words out. Let me put my teeth back in. So you have a 2-litre Atkinson cycle petrol engine, which feeds its power to a generator motor, which feeds its power to the electric motor, which of course powers the wheels. Now you can have this car as all-wheel drive, but I've got the front-wheel drive version. In regard to performance and power, this unit, well, the hybrid system as a whole, produces 184 horsepower with 315 Newton meters of torque, and as I mentioned earlier, it is mated to the ECVT gearbox. In regard to performance, you'll hit 62 miles per hour in 8.8 seconds and continue to a top speed of 112 miles per hour. But I'm sure what you really want to know is how frugal it is. So using the old NEDC method of testing, this engine, well, this hybrid powertrain, I should say, is good for 53.3 mpg on a combined run, and in regard to emissions, it emits 120 grams per kilometre of CO2. So there we are. And there we have it, guys, the Honda CR-V Hybrid. Let me give you one more look around the car before I conclude. There will of course be a full review coming. In fact, I'm filming that video shortly after I finished this video. But in the meantime, if you have any questions or queries, or you just want to leave a comment, please do so in the comment section below. I know I will answer you as quickly as possible and to the best of my ability if you happen to be asking a question about the car. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed it, or I hope you have found it useful. If you have, please do give it a big thumbs up. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click that bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. And if you aren't subscribed, guys, what are you waiting for? Be sure to subscribe for more car obsession.